I've got a gate with quite a large gap underneath it. I have sheep here, and they're clever. They're not as dumb as people think, and they're quite capable of getting under a gap like that and then getting into an area they're not allowed into. Now, I'll put this bulk of wood underneath the gate on an old wheel rim one end and a bulk of timber the other, but they've discovered if they push it, it moves, and once they learn something like that, they'll keep on doing it. Now, a lot of farmers have this problem, and they tie by various means a length of timber such as that to the bottom of the gate, and for whatever reason the sheep don't push it enough out of the way to get underneath. Now, you might be able to see that in the past I've tried to do this with wire, but it hasn't lasted. Now, what I intend to do is to make a couple of hooks that go around this bar of the gate and screw onto the wood. Very simple, but believe me, these sheep cause me a nightmare. So that's what I'm going to do. See how we're going with that. It's a good example of what farmers do under gates that have a gap. I pass this every day, and the sheep never get underneath it. They just don't. Okay, it's a bit smoky here at the moment, the fire's just coming up. But here's the plan. This is 500mm of 20mm by 5mm mild steel. I've chosen this length because it means I can hand hold one end and it saves me using tongs. Now, what I intend to do is round off both ends because I don't want sharp corners left. And this is more, for me, this is far more about the processes than particularly the finished article. I could do this very simply and crudely, or not so crudely, but I wouldn't involve so many processes, and for me, the practice is the thing. So I'm unnecessarily complicating some of these things in order to make myself learn and practice more. So what I intend to do is round these ends off. Now, to do that, I'm going to cut the corners off using the hot cut, and then I'm going to round the end, hopefully. Here we go. Go around. Try and cut these off even. It's not easy, trust me, it ain't easy. Not desperately, I'll try and take a smidge more off that side. I'll try and take a smidge more off that side, not quite even, are they? Must be ruining this now. Nearly. Right, now, how to round that off? Tricky. Rounding the end off, put him in the step. Not terribly even, is it? But it's rounder than it was. too bad, is it? That'll do. It's not going to be perfect, but it's good. Good practice. I'll quench that, change ends and do the same again. There's the second end. It's probably a bit better than the first one, but that's what practice is all about, isn't it? Now, this bit is rather by guess and by golly, because my measuring skills are not enough to precisely make these items to fit the gap under the gate. So what I've done is I've allowed 3 inches from the end, and I'll put a centre dot and I intend to fuller down there, then turn this square for the next 4 inches, which will obviously then fill it quite considerably, and then form the hook on the end. Obviously I'll do the same at the other end as well, and hopefully they'll turn out somewhat the same. Well, that'll do. At least I marked it just behind the centre dot, which is where I want it. You've got a lot more than that. That's 12, and this is 25 stock, so that's pretty much half. Righto. Next step, cut him off there, and then it's to using tongs after that. Once more, I'm just going to have to mark this, I think. Reheat it. Start to send this square now. It's like a fair bit of work, isn't it? Getting thicker, so I need to thin it out. Be careful here not to hit this feature. Got to use the heel of the hammer off the edge of the anvil. Not far to go now. step now is to turn that round, so it's on the on the points here. So it's on the points. Turn it to hexagonal. Twisting going on here, and I've forgotten to put a taper on the end, haven't I? Not too bright. Second piece, I've allowed again 2 inches for the place for the holes for the screws, but this time I've reduced the length of the amount I'm going to draw down because the gap under the gate's not equal at both ends. I've got one very long hook there, that's fine. I need a shorter one for the other end, otherwise it's going to drag on the ground very badly. So I'm going to full it down here, cut off there, draw this out and see where we are.